Oh, you're so cute. You're just a little baby. Just a tiny little baby. It's a little Kleo and a little Moosey.
Hi, I'm Maggie Lawson, and welcome to Unconditional. Every week, we explore the extraordinary bond between people and their pets. This isn't just another pet podcast. This is about the extraordinary lengths we go to for our furry family, the moments of connection, and the way they transform us. In this episode, I sat down with my dear friend, actress Janel Parrish. I love this woman so much, about her heartwarming relationship with her pets. Her story will leave you all smiling for sure, and even tug at your heartstrings a little bit. We dive into how our pets help us through life's ups and downs and how unconditional love can truly transform us. So whether you're a dog person, a cat person, or just someone who could use a little extra joy and connection in your day, Unconditional is the podcast that celebrates the deep, life-changing love we share with our pets.
Wait, hold on. Go back. You did cribs?
Okay, so I did cribs, which first of all, childhood dream, because
Of course.
grew up in the 90s.
Wait, I have so many questions about cribs.
I know. It was amazing, but we had just moved into our new house, and Moose had never. He's only 2, so he had never been on camera and anything with me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so anxious. How is he going to be with a crew full of people and a camera? He is in. If you watch cribs, he is in every single shot with me.
He was very comfortable.
He's like such a little camera model. Look at him just posing.
Did you set your fridge to have?
I did.
Uh-huh.
But you know what? No. I like cleaned up a little bit, but they said they wanted it to be real, so it had like all my normal human things. Like I didn't curate it or anything.
Okay, because that was my favorite thing. I used to love that. And then did you say when you went into the bedroom, this is where the magic happens?
Yes, I did.
Good.
I did say this is where the magic happens.
Good.
And Moose was like performing on cue every time I was like, and here's my little chaise lounge. He's like jumps up on it and poses and is like, hello.
Are you
This is
a
about
model,
me.
Moosey?
He is definitely a model.
Well, I mean, Janelle,
yes,
I love you so
hi.
much.
I love you.
Thank you so much for doing the inaugural episode.
I'm so honored.
of Unconditional, because I feel like when people talk about pets, it's often leads to other conversations, deeper conversations, but I feel like it's also this like bonding thing that once you
Definitely.
open that door, like you're done with people. Like I have felt that, and but for us, that was also one of the ways right away that we were like, oh yeah, we're each other's people, because
Absolutely.
we have this. But so this is just wonderful. So for those listening and not watching, Kleo, who is Janelle's dog, and Linus are totally in love and playing right now.
So cute.
And you're going to hear them panting in the background the entire episode.
Yeah, sorry. Clee's a little bit of an anxious girl. Even when she's happy, she's like anxious happy.
Yeah. No, so Cleo's a rescue.
Yes, they're both rescues. Kleo is my first rescue. I got her even before I met my husband, so she's my little ride or die.
Yeah.
And
How'd you find her?
So actually both pups I got in kind of like a darker time for me. She's a breakup dog. And I was just feeling, quite low, and I was like, maybe I should like look into rescuing a pup. I grew up in a house full of dogs, but I just wanted like one that was just mine, not a family dog, but like my girl, my pup. And so I was just looking on Adopt-a-Pet, and I saw her little cutie pie face, and I said, let me just go meet her. You never just go meet them, right? Like,
No.
You go there, you meet them, you come home.
You're
with
done.
them. Yeah.
Like totally.
Yeah.
But I
come home with her that
also
day.
feel like they kind of choose us. Like you saw her eyes and you were like, oh, I think
That's my girl. That's my baby. She and Lioness right now are just in love.
they're in love.
She's so funny.
So you were coming out of a relationship, and then you were like, this is bad, and I need love in my life.
That's it. I was coming out of a relationship that was actually quite emotionally abusive, and I feel like I just needed I needed some love, some unconditional love and care, and I went to go meet this pup, and that was it. She crawled up into my lap, she gave me a kiss, and I came home with her that day, and she's been my sweet little angel bear ever since.
And how long ago was this?
10 years ago.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she's been with me for 10 years. It's so funny. I'm quite an anxious person, especially when I travel. So I originally, when I wanted a pup, I was like, I'm going to get a pup, and she's going to be my little travel dog, and she's going to help me with my anxiety. Well, I ended up with a dog with a lot of anxiety, and I actually can't travel with her because she gets so anxious. So if you're listening at home and you're hearing the panting, that's Kleo. And I tried. I was like, well, I'll try her in a plane. She hated it. She was so anxious. I tried her in the car, so anxious. In the trailer with me, anxious. So I finally was like, okay, it's selfish of me to try to bring her with me when I travel because I want her with me, but she's anxious.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that to her. So
you're a good dog mom.
Yeah, she's not the best traveler. She just wants to kind of like be with her people in her place.
Right.
And that's what makes her happy.
And you knew that. You learned that. Yeah. So Moosey came along when?
Moosey came along about 2 years ago. I was having a really hard year. Work was really slow, and I was just feeling, we just kind of go through those periods where we don't really feel good about ourselves or in the best place mentally. My anxiety was at an all-time high.
Is that you have that's a common you have anxiety? And that's,
I do. I have anxiety, and sometimes it's there's periods in my life where it's worse than others. This was a particularly anxious time, and work was really slow, and I was spending a lot of time just secluding myself at home, not really seeing friends, not really going out into the world, which is honestly the worst thing for me when I'm anxious. Yeah. But it's the hardest thing to do when I'm anxious, is to be like, well, I'm just going to go outside for a walk, or I'm going to see friends. I do the opposite. I just kind of burrow.
Oh my God, I totally relate. But
yeah. And so,
isolate.
It was about 2 years ago, and we weren't even thinking about getting another dog, but I follow all these dog adoption sites on Instagram, and it's dangerous because you're scrolling and you're like, but I need this baby and that baby needs a home. But it's the same thing. I came across his picture. It was Love Bugs Rescue. Do you follow Love Bugs Rescue?
No, I don't, but I will now. That's such a cute name. Oh my God.
Good luck to you, because all their dogs are just, And I saw his little face and his eyes, and I just knew in my soul, same as Kleo, that's our dog.
God, isn't it crazy how we know these things?
You just know.
From a picture.
Yeah.
As Linus too, yeah.
Yeah, Lioness. You just know. And I showed the picture to Chris, and I said, I think this is our next dog. And he was like, yep, that's our dog.
Okay. But I'm going to pretend like I don't know some of these stories just because we've talked about dogs so much. But so you go and meet Moosey. Obviously, Moosey's your yes, we're taking Moosey home because of look at Moosey, obviously.
He's a buddy.
But it wasn't immediately easy.
There was not an immediate bond on his end with me. And I took it so personally hard. I would go to therapy and cry and be like, I just rescued this puppy and I'm working so hard. I'm training him and I'm spending all my love and time and attention on this dog, and he doesn't like me. Right, buddy? You did not like me for 6 months.
Why didn't you like your mama?
He's just a very independent boy. He was a rescue. He was found in a field in Mexico. And I think, and he has a third of his tail. So we don't know what happened to his tail.
Oh, God.
But the vet thinks that it was cut off. I know, it's heartbreaking. And it's heartbreaking, and it's hard because with rescues, sometimes you don't know their story. You don't know what happened to them before you met them. But he is specifically very scared about certain sounds. So I think he's got some trauma there that we don't know about. But, on his end, I took him from a place that he knew, which was his foster's home. And he had some brothers that he was with. And I put him in a little crate, and I took him to an unknown place. And he was like, I don't like you. I don't trust you. And I had to earn his trust. And so for about maybe 6 months, training this dog, trying to bond with him. I loved him so much immediately, but he wouldn't really come to me. He wouldn't be excited when I'd come home.
Yeah.
I'd spend all day training him. My husband would come home, and he would kind of wag his tail for my husband and not me. And I'd be like, I'm so hurt. Why don't you like me?
I think he knew. I think he was like, she's my person, but this is going to take me a minute because I don't trust people and I don't trust what's happened. But
no, I know, but I have to tell you, there one day I was sitting on the couch, and he just came up and laid on my lap, and that was it. That was when he decided, okay, I trust you. You're my person. And to earn that trust from this dog, I just started sobbing.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. And now he's just my boy. He's my heart, my boy.
Yeah.
Whenever he's scared or anxious, he comes lay on mommy. He lays on mommy all night. He knows when I'm sad and I need love. They just know.
They 1000% know. They totally bond with us. This is why this is literally why I'm doing this podcast, because I feel like there are so many relationship podcasts out there about relationships with other humans, but I don't no one's really talking about this I mean, a lot of people are talking about it. There's just a podcast about it. But like
the bond you have with your dog. Oh.
And how intense and profound and like different. Like he makes me a better person.
Oh.
My dog Peanut before made me feel safe. Like they do so much. They make us better people.
They do.
I feel like I am a completely different person when I have a doggy, and definitely when I'm with Linus. And I also feel like, and this is not to take anything away from any other pets that we've had, but like they're all our loved ones. They're all our family members, but we also have like our soul dogs.
Yes,
you
absolutely.
have like your heart dogs that I didn't know this, but like, because I met him for 15 minutes I think before I adopted him basically, and I was just like, I have this weird feeling that he was sent to me from my other
I love that story
dog.
so much. From Peanut.
Yes, which I'll tell briefly, but
yes, please do tell the story.
Peanut was
it made me cry when you told me the story.
Well, same. I mean, this is like, and you were talking about where they come from. They're so resilient. This is why I feel like we can learn so much. They're now like doing studies. Scientists are now doing studies on like like what happens to our bodies when we're petting a dog, when we're with our dogs, when we're like, because they are. I know this term like emotional support animal has just been like thrown around so much or whatever, but they do help us. They do heal us. Even the anxious ones, so then your focus kind of becomes like, all right, you're aware of her anxiousness makes you more aware of your anxiousness. And like, we have to like check ourselves when we're around them. But yeah, Peanut was my,
soul
my
dog.
God, like the most I mean, it's so funny when we talk about the connection that you have, because I had like 4 dogs when I met Peanut, because someone called us and they were like, yeah, can you all just take this dog? We found her running around the streets of downtown LA, and we have 3 dogs and they're aggressive and it's not gonna work, whatever. And I was like, yeah, this is fine. I have 4 dogs. I'll totally foster her. Thinking, and I'm so sorry, Peanut, for saying this, but thinking I'll have no problem. Like, I have 4 dogs. My dog at the time, my like other heart dog, who I have for a like little paw here, I was like, I think I can do this. I think I can be a good foster mom and also let them go.
Right. Nope.
Come
you
on.
thought.
Like, so I take
She
Peanut for a
chose
couple
you.
of days.
She chose you.
She found me.
She did.
And it was done. Like, it was done within a day. Anyway, when she passed, it was actually a really sudden, very kind of traumatic-y. I don't wish that on anyone to have to go through that with their doggy, but it took me a really long time. Like, it broke me.
Of course.
And
they're your family members.
yeah. It's like a part of me. This is what I was saying about grief too, is like which we've talked about a little bit as well, and we could talk about that in a minute. I don't think there's ever that moment where it's like, oh, I'm healed. Like they say time heals. It does. Yes. And I feel like that we just learn to live with it versus it were suddenly. So I went a couple years of like, my heart was so broken, and it wasn't until I see his little eyes.
You look at those eyes.
In a same thing, an Instagram post. And I thought like, I have to go meet them. I got to feel the energy. No. Oh, he loves you. By the way, anyone not watching right now, Linus is in love with Janel. They met in Vancouver.
He's also in love with Kleo.
And he's also in love with Kleo.
Wow, they're kissing.
There's a lot going on right now on this couch right now.
But you saw his eyes.
I saw his eyes, and I was like, I think this is my dog. I'm gonna just meet him. I was leaving town for to like go home for the holidays, and she was like, oh, the foster mom just picked him up from the shelter. We know nothing about him. If you want to meet him before you leave town. And I'm like, are you sure? This feels so like rushed and weird and whatever. I meet him for 15 minutes. I'm like, I think this is my dog.
That was it? Yeah.
I was like, yo, Peanut, am I ready?
I love this so much.
I was like, I don't know if I'm ready. And did you send him to me? And how will I know if I'm ready? And I was like, I was visiting my mom. My mom was like, just say yes. Just like, and I'm like, I just want to say yes. I want to say yes to this boy. Yeah. I don't know that we're ever ready. I don't know there's ever going to be this perfect moment. So I went upstairs to my childhood bedroom. It was Christmas time. And I signed these papers. And as I signed them, I was like, Peanut, I'll take any signs you want to send my way. And if he's meant for somebody else, you can block it and make sure he finds that person. Clearly, he was meant for Chloe. Kleo. Sorry.
That's okay.
I was like, anyway. And so I said yes. And I wake up the next morning to his adoption papers, and I saw that with that, they sent all of his records, and his shelter intake day had been December 9th, 2023. Peanut passed away on December 9th, 2021. So I was like, oh, the 2-year anniversary of her passing is when he went into a shelter.
Come on. That's
crazy.
Such a sign, clearly. And you asked her for a sign, and she gave you a sign.
And it got even better.
Yeah.
Because they were literally like, we guessed that he's 2 years old. So they gave him, so his birth certificate says that he was born on December 9th, 2021. Oh, because they thought he was 2 years old.
My God.
Because that's the only date they had for him. And it's the day that Peanut passed. And I was like, I got it.
Sent him
Literally
to you.
almost passed out. Yeah, she like literally sent him to me.
I love these stories. I love that you're telling this story. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful story. And I love stories that like the people and the creatures that we've lost, like they're still sending us signs that they are watching over us and loving us and caring for us. And I love that. Like, doesn't that give you so much hope?
Yeah. It makes me feel connected to everything in a way that, like, truly. And it's interesting because you just went through something. You sent me a text because we had a conversation about a signs and how connected we are with our animals.
Yeah.
Do you want to?
Absolutely. Well, you had told me the story about Peanut and Lioness, and I was so moved by that story. And I was like, I love this so much. That makes me so happy. And so while we were filming our film together, as you know, I was on set with you and trying not to cry and telling you that my family dog Oreo, who was my baby when I was 19, I was living at the house with my parents, and then she chose my dad. Like, that was her soul person. Yeah. So, you know, I had gotten her when I was 19. She was my family dog. But when I had moved out of the house, she had chosen my dad, and I was like, she clearly chose you. Like, you're her person. So she became my parents' dog, our family dog. And she was 17 years old, which is a wonderful, beautiful, long life for a doggie. But while we were filming, she was declining very rapidly. And my parents had said to me, you know, we're going to have to take her in and put her to sleep because she is suffering. And I could see it in her face. I FaceTimed her, and you can just tell. And it's the most heartbreaking thing ever because they're still there with you. And you don't want to make that decision. But when you see that they're suffering like that, you don't want them to live like that.
Right.
And so they had taken her in, and you and I were at work, and I was just sobbing.
I don't know how, Janel,
trying so hard to get through it.
I don't know how you did that day. I was like,
I don't think I would have been able to get through that day without you. Truly. Like, because your empathy and your strength through it all, and like you being empathetic but still being strong for me, helped me to get through it. You know what I mean? Like, truly, I really feel that way.
You did all that. You were like she was like in between takes getting updates from her parents, FaceTime,
getting pictures.
I mean, it was like, and then they were like, okay, we're ready for you all on set. And she would literally like wipe her eyes and go. And when you see this movie, like, you'll see she's so incredible. Like, the
energy level of this character.
Exactly. But it's like, and it's comedic and like, it's beyond like anyway, we'll get to that
somehow.
In a minute, but
somehow we did
pulled
it
it together. Yes.
We pulled it together. But I said to you, I loved your Peanut story about how she sent you a sign. I'm going to ask Oreo to send me a sign. And you said to me, you'll know when you see it. So when Oreo passed, I said to her, same as you with Peanut, I said, Oreo, send me a sign. Let me know you crossed the Rainbow Bridge and that you're happy and you're watching over me and you're happy. And it took a while. I sometimes I'd be like, I haven't seen the sign from Oreo yet. I hope it comes. It took maybe about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then I went home to visit my family in Hawaii and kind of cheer them up. You know, they'd only been without Oreo for a few weeks. And we cried a lot and we toasted to her. And I still said, you know, Oreo, if you're up there, give me a sign you're happy and you're watching over me. And on the last day of my trip, I dropped something. I was like, my eye cream, it basically flew out of my hands and rolled under the bed in the guest bedroom where I was sleeping. And I looked under the bed to go get it, and there was one of Oreo's long-lost balls just right underneath the place where I was sleeping. And I knew it. And I messaged you, and I was like, Maggie, you're going to love the story. You told me I'd know. And I do. And she was saying, I'm happy. I'm good. I'm playing up there.
Isn't it crazy how they like still communicate with us? Like, I feel Peanut, especially after that moment, I feel her all the time. But they do. I think that they have ways of like, it's as with anything, as with any like being. Oh my God.
They're little angels.
Kleo and Linus are so in love.
They're in love.
Like, it's the cutest thing ever. So I was thinking about like, what are the ways? So for me, I feel like every dog I've had has made me a better person in some way. Every dog I've had is, I wish you could see the frame right now of like you and the 3 dogs literally. You are. So we just did a movie together where
my favorite moment.
She plays, it's called Sugar Plumbed, and Janelle.
Sugar Plum on Hallmark.
Sugar Plumbed on Hallmark, and it's going to come out on December 7th, which is probably going to be
And
around
we're
the
so
time
cute.
this airs.
And we're adorable in it.
We're really cute in it. And we had never met before the movie. We met on the plane. And then by like, I don't know, the second day in, we were so connected. We were literally having conversations with our
Just
eyeballs.
with our eyes. Yeah.
I could literally look at you on set and be like, I know exactly.
Yep.
We are thinking the exact
You'd be
same
like,
thing
hey,
right now.
you know what? And I'd be like, this.
Exactly.
And you're like, exactly.
Exactly.
Love that.
Anyway, one of the so this movie is Janelle is I have to say probably, and maybe people don't know this because I don't know. You said you've not done a ton of comedy.
No,
You
I
are
really have not.
so comedically talented and has like the craziest comedic timing. We
my
did
gosh, stop.
the
I love
table
you.
read, and I walked out and I was like, "Where is your like?" comedy
You
hit,
did,
like,
and I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. Comedy is not my strong suit, so thanks for giving me the confidence to walk on set on Monday.
oh my god,
Like, you're the best.
she's so good. Wait till
love
you see,
you.
this was like a next level energy.
You too. You are so
And
funny
lines
and
that-
so cute.
and-
It's gonna be fun.
Thanks, you guys are
gonna be
gonna
really
really
good.
like our
We're
movie. I
adorable.
think we're really cute, and we also like became BFFs, and it's really nice. And then we bonded over our doggies too. But I will say, how do you feel like Moosey and I'll say both of them, Kleo, have changed your life for the better? How do they take care of you? Like,
So, especially when I got Moose, right? I was feeling like the worst version of myself. Like I felt like I couldn't take care of myself, you know, the way that I needed to take care of myself. And getting him and taking care of him helped take care of me as well, if that makes sense. Like not only was I taking care of him, but like he gave me a purpose when I felt like I had none. He gets me out walking around in nature, which is so important for me. It just really helps being outside and walking around and getting that fresh air. It just helps me kind of reset when I'm feeling low. And I have to with him. I have to walk him every day, you know? And so he gets me out of the house when I don't want to. And I'm like, oh gosh, that breath of fresh air. I feel better now.
Yeah.
What was that thing I was feeling before? That was silly. Everything's fine. Everything's good. Look at this beautiful world we're in. So much bigger than this one little thing I'm focusing on. The unconditional love, the loyalty, just like it's all just, they just make me feel the best version of myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
that's what I always say about
They're little
like,
angels.
they are little angels. It's like what you were saying about like those days when you can't get out, or you're isolating or whatever. They like you have to get
this
out and walk
purpose
them.
for them. You have to,
Yep.
and they look at you like they don't know, right? Like they just look at you and they're like, to me, you are perfect. You are
Exactly.
it. And I'm like, I want to be the dog. I want to be the person that my dog thinks I am.
That is
I
why
really
this
do. You know, look
podcast
at
is called
him.
Unconditional. Yeah, just because you're the best boy. Do you think that? Okay, so is that your dog voice? I was gonna ask.
Yes,
but it's
my
Janelle.
dog voice.
It's
Is
kind
it?
of like this. It's kind of like dopey. Dopey dog voice, yes.
This is Moosey's voice.
Hello, Mom.
What's Cleo's voice? Does Cleo have a voice?
Her voice is a little bit more like this.
It's kind of like the voice that you do for Lioness.
What's her voice?
Do it. I say, buddy. That's like see. He just looked at me. He's like, "What do you? I know what you're saying. I think I know what you're saying." This is so. I love this. So they bring you back to yourself. That's like a big thing, and make you
Yes.
feel like you're the best version of yourself. Do you feel like they have changed your life? Like
Oh,
in that,
absolutely.
like pre them, post them, you're a different person.
I can't even think about it. Like
Yeah.
life without them. You know, they're I always say to Chris, I'm like, these two creatures, they run our world.
Yeah.
Like they are our entire universe. They are our children. They bring us closer together. We do activities together because of them now too, as well as like, you know, just taking care of them by ourselves. We take care of them together, which brings us closer together as well. I mean, they're just our entire universe.
They're like your emotional support animals, but also like your therapists. Because Linus is
Absolutely.
definitely my therapist.
Look at them real quick.
They're so
All three of them are on me, and I have never been happier.
you're like
in my
Snow
life.
White. I swear to God.
I love all the animals. I want all the animals on me at all times.
It's like Linus Linus will rarely leave my side, but when Janelle was around on set, I have many pictures that I will share when we do this podcast, and also yes,
Yes, very that. And also Lioness was like my therapist on set because I was going through the Oreo thing, losing Oreo, and you were on set, and I wasn't on set. I was just chilling in my trailer, and I texted you, and I said, can I go see Lioness? And you were like, yes, he will know what you're going through, and he will give you love. And he did. I walked in that trailer. He immediately jumped on my lap and kissed me and just gave me so much love, and it was like he was my therapist in that moment.
They're so aware of us and all of our emotions. He's so intuitive. Yeah. Like, it's one of the first things his foster mom told me when I was going to pick him up was she had a pity that she had for a long time and was on his last days. Yeah. And that Linus would go lay on top of him while, like, because I was like, how is he with other dogs? Like, I met him for 15 minutes and, like, she didn't even know. They just picked him up and she sent me this picture. She said, I think he's one of the most intuitive dogs. And she's a major foster.
They give you so much joy. The amount of laughing I do, even when I feel like crying because of these creatures, they all have such personalities, right?
Yeah.
They all have their own distinct personalities. And I mean, like, I'll never understand if somebody doesn't love dogs.
Okay.
I'll never get it.
I'm so suspicious of people who don't love dogs.
And you know what? I got to say this. I won't name names, okay? I'm not going to be that shady. But the boyfriend that I had a breakup with when I went to go get Kleo did not like dogs.
What?
And he was like, why do you want to get a dog? They're so dirty and they're so messy. And I was like, we're maybe breaking up.
Yeah. No, I dated somebody like that.
What's wrong with you?
Huge regret, by the way, because I knew.
Red flag.
Yeah. And it was interesting because I remember, like, the dog didn't hate him necessarily, but his like, oh, not on the carpet, not on the whatever. I don't know why it wasn't just like I didn't walk out the door 15 seconds into that
It's
into
just
that
such
date.
a red flag, isn't
It's
it?
such a red flag. Sorry to all of you out there. Now, I get it if there's like trauma. I get it if like you were attacked by a dog.
Absolutely.
But like
Totally get
if
that.
you're just like, I don't like dogs
just
because
didn't
they're
like them.
dirty.
Yeah.
No, go away.
Exactly.
They're
They're drooly.
No, they're the most lovable, beautiful,
Angels.
make the world better creatures. They are now taking animals into schools after mass shootings. They're taking them into nursing homes, and there are actually studies being done on longevity. I hope you all are watching because there's this amount of sweetness that's happening right now.
Actually,
on
my
this couch.
favorite day ever.
This is why I'm making this podcast. I really do
I
believe
love this.
I could talk to you about your career, which is extensive, and you're so talented. Obviously,
This is
so
what
many
I
people
really
love you and
want to talk
know
about,
you.
though.
But I
The
feel like
dogs.
and also this is the relationship I feel like that shapes so much of who we are.
Absolutely.
Beyond even, and we we can talk about you and I can talk about romantic relationships all day because yes we can.
Maybe
But
make a
off
podcast out of
camera.
that.
Yeah, maybe we actually.
Involving wine.
We should because that's another thing that we discovered like really quickly. One of my favorite things about Janelle is like small talk out the window. We're both like this. I don't have it exhausts me.
Exhausting. Nobody's got time for that. And
No.
I'm gonna know if if we're like people
Yes.
for each other.
Yeah.
Not from the small talk, from the deep talk.
Exactly.
Didn't we like within 10 minutes just kind of be like, let's just dive right in there. Let's talk about it.
We're sitting at
Immigration.
and it was like and by the way and so we realized we were on a flight together. Okay, this is all like yes, but we realized we were on a flight together. We said hello in the line. We were not sitting together on the flight. We get off the flight. We realize in Canada when you're working on something you have to go through a whole process to get like a work permit to work there or whatever, and it's very long. We literally had angels. Like you were like, I was like,
yeah.
you are my sugar plum fairy because we got through it in such rapid time. But
we thought it was going to be 3 hours. We're like, we'll sit here and talk for 3 hours. No problem.
Oh, we had no problem. We
Absolutely.
literally sat down and we dived right in. You told me, I think, a story about Moosey. I think it was one of the first days you came home from
The surgery.
Yeah. You said
talk
that the
about
day
it?
that you came home, I feel like it was Moosey, you
Yes.
said, that was literally like,
Yeah.
like did not leave your side.
Did not leave my side. I came home. I found out that I needed surgery for endometriosis. This was all this year. It was kind of like a rough roller coaster ride of us not really knowing what I had, but knowing something was wrong and that I needed surgery. And I came home finding out I was going to get surgery and that it was probably like a really bad case, stage 4 endometriosis, which it did end up being. But this dog, I swear he is like my soul dog because we are so connected that he just knew that I needed love. Like he would just come lay his whole body weight on me and just look at me and give me kisses. And it just provided me with so much comfort and so much hope. Like I felt like, I don't know how to explain it. Like him being so loving and kind to me was like oh, it's gonna be okay somehow.
They heal us.
Yeah, they do.
They
They
do.
really do. It's so healing. Like their love is so unconditional and so healing. And he was my doctor.
I have a few less deep questions about.
Absolutely. But I like the deep stuff. We can talk about anything you want, Maggie.
I love
anything you want.
because I love the deep stuff too. But I also want to know a few little things like
Let's go.
if they had. Did you say you thought about this? If they had occupations, what they would be?
That's pretty funny. I feel like Moose would be a detective. Look at him.
Yeah.
He is always like, he's so alert. He hears every sound. He like wants to know the deal everywhere and in any situation. Oh, it's okay, buddy. What, you hear something outside?
See, he knows. He's
I
like,
feel
I
like
need to
I
go
can just
investigate.
see him in like a cute little detective outfit with like a pad and a pencil.
For sure.
Maybe some spectacles.
Oh, for
What's
sure.
going on over here? Yeah,
He needs like a monocle or like an Inspector Gadget kind of vibe.
Doesn't he? Look
He
at him.
is so funny.
Kleo, I wonder what you would be. What would you be?
Oh, Kleo, I feel like would be. I'm. This is my guess. I just looked over at her and I was like, she would be like a, I don't know, like a spa attendant, like a masseuse or a like a very calming. She like actually.
Esthetician.
Oh, an esthetician.
Would you be an esthetician?
Maybe. Look at those cheeks. I think so.
She really likes beauty. I
Yeah.
give her little spa days.
Yeah.
She loves it.
I think she would definitely be an esthetician.
Lioness be?
Linus would probably be. I've thought about this just a little bit because I think he would be like a dog toy tester. You know how like when they test things to see like the
Excellent.
crash tests.
Excellent.
Because I have a funny thing with him that always plays. You know that Taylor Swift song?
Yes.
My boy always breaks his favorite toys. This dog. He's so tiny, but when he decides like he's going to rip something apart, it happens very quickly. So I can now tell you the toughest toys out there because of Linus.
That's hilarious.
So yeah,
I love
maybe
it.
like a crash test, some version of that. What do you think, buddy?
I love it.
I also think he's also very curious about ladybugs.
When I look at him, he looks like a little professor man.
Yeah, that's the
Like a
thing.
little professor.
He looks like a distinguished gentleman. He looks
is.
like a puppy and a distinguished gentleman like all at once. He also
Absolutely.
really loves being on set.
That's so good. I'm so jealous. I tried to make her a set dog. She did not like being in the trailers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he is a good set dog. Like I remember you brought him to set.
Yeah.
And he was just chilling, kicking it with you.
He loves the hair and makeup trailer. Is he a model?
Love that. He is a model.
I think he's a
and he's
model.
a great set dog. And I think every set should have a set dog. And I'm sad that it can't be my dogs.
I agree with you. I think everywhere,
too
every plane, every classroom should have a dog. Don't we all agree? They just make everything better. What are your rules at home of like, are they allowed in the room when you get busy? Are they not allowed in the room when you get busy? Oh God.
So Kleo is allowed in the room when we get busy because she just kind of like keeps to herself. Like she's got no problem. We have lately discovered that we have to put Mr. Mans outside the room and close the door when
Why?
we get busy because he wants to get involved. He wants to get in there. He's like, what's going on? Like there's been multiple times where we're like, it's fine. He'll just hang out over there. And then Chris is like, nope, he's licking me. Nope, his nose is on me. Can't do this.
Moosey.
Take two. We must throw him out. I don't know what's happening. I think he's like, oh, are we playing? Are we playing? Can I play too? He's very much a pack animal. And he just wants to be with his pack. And he's like, oh, we're wrestling. We're snuggling. Got it. But, he has involved himself. Places of our bodies have been licked that should not have been during those moments. We are now too disturbed
God bless
to
him.
have him be around.
Yeah.
He must be outside with the door closed.
I mean, they're animals. I feel like on some level they do know.
How is
he
he?
growls.
He growls? Does he think he's trying to protect you? Is he like,
Yes, yes.
get away from my mommy?
If there's a like that, the
That's
second
so
that like
funny.
contact, if just a kiss even happens, he is like vroom, right in between.
that's
right
so funny.
in
He's so
between.
protective.
Yeah, he's very, 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 very
I
protective.
think with him, he's just curious. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, what's happening?
Do you have any other rules for them in the house? Like I'm like Linus is allowed everywhere.
Oh, yeah. No, they're
Yeah.
allowed. They're allowed everywhere. The only thing that gets a little bit tricky is like when new people come over, like when the doorbell rings, they freak out. So sometimes we have to like put them outside just to like let them calm down before new people come in. He has like such a big bark and it's a playful bark. He's so excited, like his butt's wagging, but his bark sounds almost aggressive because he's excited. So when like new people come in, we sort of have to like be like, he's fine. He's very, very friendly. He just has a big boy bark.
I like how protective he is, though.
But it's like, but he actually is so excited. Like, he's like, oh my God, somebody new. Wow, hello.
Are you a social butterfly?
Yes.
I love that. Linus literally sleeps right here. This is becoming, he like sleeps on me.
Doesn't he
It's
sleep
like,
sometimes on your neck?
Yeah, he sleeps like a cat. Linus is like part cat for sure.
He loves to curl up.
He'll lay across my neck like this. So it makes it difficult, but I can't move him. I really can't move him. I'm so in love with the creature.
He's a model. He is just sitting over there by himself. Now she's going to go sit with her brother.
Oh my God. I also do a podcast with Me Time, and Me Time was originally Me Time and Pet Time. Pet Time is what launched Unconditional. So they're all, I feel like, kind of tied in, because for me, my Me Time is mostly being with Linus.
Absolutely. No matter what kind.
Okay, I love this. Anything else you want to add about things that you love about Janel's doggy time?
Doggy time. I mean, I just feel like that's another thing, right? Like you talked about this earlier, but scientists have said you release oxytocin?
Yeah, something
it's
like
that.
that.
It's like the love. You release the love chemical when you hug and you pet your dog, and they feel it too.
Yeah,
which is why you feel so bonded with them.
They're literally
when you pet them, they feel love. They feel the love chemical. I mean, it's just the best, right?
They know we're talking about them.
Cuddling with them, like if there's just a moment I'm having, I'll just go and bury myself in them.
Yeah,
just like oof,
and then you feel okay.
Yeah.
I have to say, the 2 years now that I know, like the 2 years that I didn't have a dog after Peanut, and I was taking my time and I was recovering, but I actually think like my heart is softer. I'm a better person when I have my baby around.
Absolutely.
But like I just had to find you.
Well, you know,
it just took a little while. Maybe if I had found you sooner, it would. But anyway,
it's the trust too. Like they trust you with their lives, literally.
Yeah,
we keep them alive.
Yeah,
and there's something about that responsibility and that love and that desire to give them the best life possible that just fuels me. Like it gives me that purpose. Like I'm just like, I love you so much and I want to take care of you and I want you to be the happiest little angel for the time that they have here.
No, I agree. I want to have him with me all the time because I know that I'm better in the world. Like I know this is me going into like all my emotional
I love
stuff,
it. I
but
love
it's
it.
the truth.
Yeah,
I really do feel that way, especially after being in New York with this boy for the last like 2 weeks.
He was a little city boy.
Oh my God, he would just like he was like, okay, this is new. Like we'd go out and because there's so many people on the streets in New York, and we'd been in Vancouver, we've been in LA, but like people don't walk the same. And there are more people in Vancouver on the streets, but not in LA. He was immediately like, oh my God, there are so many feet. Like there are just so
and he's
many
at feet level.
That's what I mean. Yeah. That's like all he could see. So he learned this like technique where I just all day long I was like, sorry, excuse me,
buddy.
because you would find your way all the way through, didn't you?
It's his raincoat for me.
It's
the little yellow raincoat for me is
it's
just
like rubber ducky. He looks
Lioness.
like
when I think of Lioness, I think of his little scruffy eyes and his little scruffy chin and his little raincoat.
I love it.
It kills me.
I love it so much. Anything else you want to say about your babies? This was so beautiful. I could talk about, this is why I'm making this podcast.
You know what? I think too, they make each other better, which is something that's really sweet. I wasn't sure. I had her first, obviously, for 8 years before we got Moosey. And we weren't actively thinking about getting another dog until we saw his picture and we were like, wait, do we need this dog? And I was struggling with guilt. I was like, I feel guilty. Like, will Kleo think that I don't love her anymore if we bring this other dog into our world? Like, will she be sad? Will she be happy? Like, I want her to be happy if she has a brother. And I reached out to my friend, Lana. Shout out to Lana Condor we put all the boys together, and she had recently adopted another dog. And I was like, Lana, I'm really struggling. She loves dogs just as much as us. Like, she's a dog person. Like, she would come on your podcast and probably just talk about dogs. Yes, Lana, come do the podcast.
Yeah, Lana, come do the podcast.
She would. But she was like, Janel, do it, because not only is it just like amazing to add to your family and like adopt another dog and give them a wonderful life, but she's gonna be a better dog because of it too. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, when they have each other, they bring out the better sides of each other. Yeah. And obviously, he doesn't know any better. He's known her. She's his sister, like, since we brought him into our house. He is obsessed with her. It took her a little bit of time. She was a little bit jealous at first. But now I see what Lana was talking about, because she's braver because of him. She's a little less anxious because of him. When she is scared, she goes to him and he's like, I'll protect you. She plays more because of him. She eats better because of him. Like, she was a very kind of picky eater, but now she sees him wolfing down his food and she's like, oh, I'm going to do it too then. Like, they copy each other. When they're scared, they have each other. They snuggle together.
Yeah.
When they don't feel good, the other person comes up and well, basically they're like humans. But
I was just about to say, well, Moose
Yeah.
is maybe her person. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
I know you've talked about like that when obviously we love them all the same, but we do
Yeah.
have the ones that are like this is my soulmate.
the soulmate.
And then there's like your heart dogs or your dogs, but you have
Oh,
like
yes.
these like soulmate connections.
Yeah.
And I know you have that with Moosey, but it maybe Kleo came to you to meet Moosey, and Moosey is what brings her peace in this
I
world.
love that. I mean, it's really true. I watch every morning. She licks his face. She cleans his face, and he just sits there with his eyes closed. He's like, "Thank you, sister," and she's like, "Do, do, 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 do." And it's just so sweet, and it softens my heart to her even more. I mean, I already loved her, but I love her even more seeing what a good big sister she is with him.
Yeah.
So now I understand what Lana meant, and it's just sweet to see, like, yes, they impact us, but they also have an impact on each other too, which is so nice. And I didn't know that. I never had two dogs at the same time, so I was nervous about it, but they're just such the cutest little babies. They're such good brothers and sisters.
That's what I think. I'm thinking about that for him too.
I remember
'cause he
you
loves
saying
other
that in
doggies.
Vancouver, like, maybe you'll get Lioness a friend. And you know what? Like, they just, no matter what, he's going to be so happy because he has you. No matter what.
We're like
if you do decide to get him a friend, I do think they love it. Like, sometimes it takes a while, but
I need a yard. I think once I have a yard, because the place I'm in right now does not have a yard or a bathtub. And that, you were talking about bath, I'm like, oh yeah, that's like that's one of my things too. But I need to get a yard.
just go to
and
the
when I
spa.
have a yard, yeah, that's true. I'm gonna get him a little angel friend as well.
you'll know when it's time.
That's the thing.
You'll know.
They choose us.
Yep.
They find us.
They come into our lives when they're supposed to.
Absolutely. And I feel like change everybody. I feel like we talk differently. We act differently. Our hearts are more open because of this unconditional love. Our conversations, like you and I feel like I feel like most of the time when I'm meeting, like the second you cross into pet talk, you're in a different space. It's even safer, I think, than a lot of topics. I feel like people feel really open. And anyway, so I'm excited also. Thank you so
Of course.
much, because this was like such a huge thing for us that I know we totally share. Like,
Yeah.
there are people who are dog people, and then there are people who are dog people.
Absolutely.
And then,
So
of
many.
course, to have gone through everything you went through, and then learning about Oreo and hearing that story and seeing that, and like,
and the peanut story, that made me feel so much closer to you, because
Yeah.
I think it's like what you said, right? Like, you can talk about relationships all you want.
Yeah.
But our pets, I mean, our hearts are so open with our pets. And when you talk about those vulnerable things about your pets to somebody else, you're opening your heart to me by telling me your story about Peanut.
Yeah.
And I'm learning so much more about you. And so
Yeah.
it's just like, when you told me that story, I felt so honored that you trusted me enough to let me in and tell me that story.
Same.
But then it just like made me love you even more, because I'm just like, oh, I get it. I get it. And I love how hard you love
No, same.
your pups. It's
Same.
such a thing. I get
Same
it.
to you.
Yeah.
I love this girl so much. You all, what else? What else can we tell them? You have, so she has like a
That's
gazillion
it.
movies coming out. You all know who she is. And we were so happy to get you today, because she's about to jump on a plane to go do another one. So
In Vancouver, where we
Vancouver.
were, and I'll miss you.
Yes. Well, I might see you at some point.
Yeah, I'll see you there. We'll hang out.
Yeah.
We'll have
So,
wine.
we'll have
and
wine.
a saucy noodle, probably.
And we'll have wine and saucy,
Saucy
noodles,
noodle.
and we'll talk about our dogs and all of the things that we can't talk about on this podcast. Yes. Anyway, all right, Janelle, I love you.
I
Thank
love you.
Moosey,
Thanks for having me.
Kleo.
They're exhausted, apparently.
Good. I
on their
love this.
podcast debut.
Thank you all so much.
Huge thank you to our amazing guest, Janel Parrish, and to all of you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to Unconditional so you never miss an episode, and feel free to share this podcast with your fellow pet lovers. If you're craving more heartwarming pet stories, you can catch us every week wherever you get your podcast. Until next time, remember, the love we share with our pets is truly unconditional. Take care, and give your furry friends an extra hug from me.